people! I'm back! Alright, here we go. Today we're going to talk about area to circumference. So this is for only the smart people, okay? So all the smart people in the world, you're going to figure this out, okay? It's not that hard. We're going to break it down in some easy steps, and you're going to figure out how to take the area, work it backwards, and get over to circumference, okay? So my first question before you get started today is, what has ears but can't hear a thing? What has ears but can't hear a thing? A cornfield. Alright, second question. What did one plate say to the other plate? What did one plate say to the other plate? Dinner is on me. Dinner is on me. That is a good one. Alright, you ready? We'll get back to that in just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go from the area of the circle, work it down backwards, and come over and get the circumference. Alright, and we know the area formula after all this work we've been doing is pi times radius squared. Alright, so let's talk about pizza. Let's say we know the area of the pizza is 300 inches squared. Okay, so we know that's our number. They give us that in the problem. They say the area of the pizza, or the area of whatever circle you're talking about, 300 square inches. Alright, so we're going to go put that right there in the formula. So that is going to be pi times radius squared. Alright, so we're going to put the 300 in for the area. Okay, we know the number we're going to use for pi is what? 3 and 1400, yes indeedy. Okay, and what we're going to figure out here is the radius. Alright, so just like when we go from circumference to area, the first step, okay, is the same. We're going to divide by pi. So we're going to do 300 divided by pi. And over here, 3.14 divided by 3.14, well, that's just 1, so they cancel out to nothing. Okay, just to 1. Alright, so now we'll bring in the old trusty calculator, and we're going to do 300 divided by 3.14. Okay, 300 divided by pi, which is 3.14, and then we're going to go to the hundreds place, so that's 95 and 54 hundredths. 95 and 54 hundredths. Okay, 95 and 54 hundredths equals radius squared. Okay, so now here's the extra special step. Okay, the opposite of squaring is called square rooting, and you use this special little symbol on your calculator. Okay, that's called the radical sign. So if you want to write over here, this is square root. Okay, so like the square root of 25 is 5, or the square root of 49 is 7, or the square root of 100 is 10. Okay, so we're taking the opposite of squaring, which is square rooting, and we're going to do the square root of 95 and 54 hundredths. Now on these little blue calculators, you see that little square root or radical sign is right there in yellow. So we're going to have to hit second and that to get the little square root sign to come up. Okay, now that would be the square root of 95 and 54 hundredths, and that gives me 9 and 77 hundredths, because I'm going to the hundredths place. Okay, 9 and 77 hundredths. So 9 and 77 hundredths is my radius. Alright, so let's go through just those couple steps again. So we took the area, we divided it by pi. That gave me radius squared. The opposite of squaring is square rooting, so I got to do the square root, okay, of 95 and 54 hundredths. When I did that, that gave me 9 and 77 hundredths. Now, I just want to show you something, okay? If you're going to do this on your cellular phone, okay, if you're looking at it like this, okay, you know, there's no square root symbol there. Just, you know, add, subtract, multiply, divide, just the basic stuff. If you turn it this way, however, okay, you can see it gives you all these extra buttons over here. Okay, and let's see, which one is it? I guess it would be that. So let's see, the square root of 95 and 54 hundredths. And there you go. Alright, so let me show you that one more time. So that one right there, it's got the little 2 with the square root thing. Okay, so we go to square root of 95 and 54 hundredths. And that'll give you 9.77 for your radius. Okay, so again, it's that one right there if you're using an iPhone. Okay. Alright, so make sure you turn your calculator sideways on your phone and get that button to pop up. Alright, so once we get the radius, okay, how many radiuses does it take to make a diameter? Well, it takes 2, right? So over here we're going to do double that, okay, to get the diameter. So we take 9.77 times 2, and that gives you 19 54 hundredths. Okay, so the pi is 3.14. We got the diameter as 19 54 hundredths, and then we just multiply them together. Pi times 19 54 hundredths. And that tells me the circumference, which would be around the outside edge of the circle, would be 61.355. So that would be, since there's a 5 there, it's going to round that to a 6. And if it asks you to round it to the nearest tenths place, since there's a 6 there, okay, that's going to round it up to 61 4/10. Okay, so let's go through all these steps down here, and we're just going to talk about it one step at a time. Okay, so step 1, we go back and look at the problem. Okay. Up here, our first step was we divided by pi, okay? Divide by pi. Alright? That gives you radius squared. Okay? Now, to undo squaring, you got to do the square root. Okay? So step 2. Take the square root. Got to use that little radical sign. Remember, if you're doing it on your cell phone, you might have to turn it sideways on the calculator to get that. Gives you the radius. Okay, so from step 1, we're going from having the radius squared to get back to the radius. Okay. Now, once we've got that, we'll do the radius times 2 to give you the diameter. Okay. And then that brings us to the final step, okay, which will be step 4. Do pi times diameter. And that'll give you the circumference. Alright, so this time we got 4 steps. Okay, we got an extra step in there compared to when we did the circumference to area one. Alright, so it only had 3 steps, but this one got 4. Okie dokie, so now we're going to take those steps and we're going to go through another problem just so you can see how it works. And again, talk about using that square root button. Alright, so let's say again we've got a circle and they tell us the area of that circle. Let's say this time it's going to be 875 meters squared. Okay, so that would be, you know, inside in there. If you're talking about a pizza, that would be where the cheese and the pepperoni and all the stuff in there. We're trying to find the outer edge. Okay, we're trying to go to this from the area to the circumference. So again, our formula is pi times radius squared for area. So we're going to take that number and we're going to put it right there. 875 equals. We know we're using 3.14 for pi. We don't know the radius, but we're getting ready to find it. Okay. So step 1 is we divide by 3.14 on both sides. And that, of course, is going to cancel out over here. And they cancel out, and that gives you a 1. Now we're going to do 875. Okay, well, let me scoot that over just a little bit. Scoot that over there. That'll be easier to see. Okay. 875 divided by 3.14. Okay. And that is 278.66. 278.66, and that is the radius squared. Is 278.66. Okay, so that's step 1. We divided by 3.14. The next step is take the square root. Okay, So we're going to do the square root of that to get back to the radius. Alright, so I'm going to hit second and that on this little blue calculator. Pulls up the little radical sign. Again, if you're using your phone, you might have to, turn your phone horizontally to get it to pop up. 278.66. And that means the radius is 16.69 or 16 and 69 hundredths. Don't have to round it up because there's a 3 there. Okay? So now I've got the radius. Once you have the radius, okay, go multiply it by 2, which is going to give you the diameter. So 16 and 69 hundredths times 2. That means the diameter is 33 and 38 hundredths. Let's go down just a little bit. Okay. So divided by pi gave us radius squared. Take the square root of that. That gives you the radius. To get the whole diameter, you got to take the radius and multiply it by 2, because if you have 2 radiuses, it makes a diameter. All right. Final step is step 4, and that means you got to do pi times diameter to get the circumference. So that would be pi times the diameter, which we just got, 33 and 38 hundredths. So pi times 33 and 38 hundredths. And that means around the outside of that pizza or that circle would be 104 and 81 hundredths if you're going to the hundredths place. Now if you're going to go to the tenths place, since there's a 1 there, okay, you can just drop that off because it will not round up. So it would be 104 and 8 tenths. Alright? So divide by 3.14. Take the square root of that number to get you to the radius. You got to double the radius to get the diameter. And then to finish it up, it's pi times diameter, which gives you the circumference. And it looks like I got time to do one more real fast. Okay. So let's do one more right here. Let's see. Good right there. Alright. So let's say we know our area of the circle. Let's do a big number this time. Let's say it's 12,650 centimeters squared. Okay, so we got a big number this time, 12,650. Again, our area formula is pi times radius squared, right? Pi times radius squared. So I take the 12,650, I'm going to put it right there for the area. 12,650 equals 3.14 times radius squared. What's step 1? Divide by pi. So I divide by pi there, and I divide by pi there. Those pi's cancel out and equal to 1, so they just cancel each other out. Go pull out the calculator over here and do 12,650 divided by 3.14, which is pi. That means that the radius squared is 4,028.66. I don't know if y'all can see that very good or not. Okay. 4,028 and 66 hundredths. Don't have to round it up. Alright. My next step says take the square root to get you the radius. So I'm going to do square root of that. So, and the square root of 4,028.66 means the radius is 63 and 47 hundredths. Okay, again, since there's a 1 there, don't have to round it up. So now I've got the radius. What do I do to make a diameter when I've got the radius? Well, you just multiply that by 2, okay? 2 of those. Remember, the radius is just halfway across, basically to there. Diameter is all the way across, so when you got 2 of those, it gives you the diameter. So 63 and 47 hundredths times 2 means the diameter is 126 and 94 hundredths. And the final step says pi times diameter, which will give me circumference. Okay, so pi times diameter, so that would be 3.14 times that number I just got, 126.94. Still got it on my calculator right there. So 3.14 times 126.94. And that means the circumference for this circle is 398.59 to the hundredths place. Okay. Again, since there's a 1 there in the thousandths place, I'm not going to round it up. if it's asking me to go to the tenths place, which of course is that one, since there's a 9 there, that would mean I'd have to round it up to the tenths place, and that would give me 398 and 6/10. 398 and 6/10. Okay. So, as we finish this up, we'll go back over the steps one more time. Okay. So the first step, divide by pi, 3.14. That's going to give you the radius squared. Now, so to cancel out squaring, you got to do the square root. When you do the square root, that's going to give you the radius. So divide by pi, get the square root. Once you got the radius, you're home free. Just double the radius, multiply it by 2. That'll give you the diameter. And then, of course, the circumference formula is just pi times diameter. And you got it. Okay? So I tried to break it down for you right there as much as I could. So if you need some more help and you need me to break it down some more, okay, don't forget to email me at Reid@Davidson. And you know the rest. Davidson. I can't spell it. Davidson.k12.nc.us. Alright. Hope everybody's doing alright. If you got questions, let me know. If you need help, let me know. Until then, hasta la vista. Sayonara. Ciao, baby. I'm out.